Now, for veteran technology investor Tim Draper, venture capital is the family business. His grandfather is known as the first venture capitalist, and his father co-founded his own VC firm back in 1962. Tim, who has been called the creator of viral marketing, made his mark by co-founding Draper Fisher Jurvetson in 1985. Over the past 26 years, he's made many successful investments, including Skype, eBay, Hotmail, and Baidu, to name just a few. Tim joins us now from Palo Alto. Welcome to Bloomberg West. So first of all, I want to talk about the president visiting Facebook. We're seeing a president paying more attention to Silicon Valley than ever before. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think the president understands that we're the engine for jobs, wealth, economic development, and the Silicon Valley is where this all happens. Now, the Silicon Valley has gone global. The global Silicon Valley is creating new businesses, and those new businesses employ more people. They create jobs and wealth for people, and the consumer benefits. So I think he's recognizing now that the Silicon Valley is, in effect, the reason the economy is going to come back.
Now, Tim, if you were going to be at dinner with the president tonight, what would you ask him for?
Well, I might actually. I think I would ask him. I think primarily what I'll ask him.
Wait. Are you going to be there or not?
What I would primarily ask him.
You can respectfully decline to comment.
I think what's very important is we do a great job of educating people, not K-12, but in our university system is second to none. And it's because it's a good market system. You can choose the right university for yourself. It's a market system. People have to, the universities have to fight to be the best. And as a result, we get people from all over the world, all the best and the brightest come to our universities, particularly in the Silicon Valley, to see what they can do. And then our country says, okay, well, now that you're educated, you can't work here. And Tim, I think that's totally ludicrous.
Tim, you know I'm a mean journalist, and I could hold your feet to the fire, but I'm just going to guess that you're going to be at this dinner tonight. We'll check your campaign contributions later and find out for sure. But what I want to know is, when you talk about the kinds of jobs that Silicon Valley creates, there's this ongoing debate about how many jobs Silicon Valley destroys in the process. Amazon causing local booksellers to close. Amazon is another example of, it's not always Google engineers getting hired. Sometimes it's guys having to quit their jobs that are higher-paying jobs and take crummy jobs, throwing books into boxes. Is the future of technology one of employment disruption? And maybe that's the other part of this deal that the president isn't selling.
Well, there is something to that. I mean, every generation we need a disruption. It's very important for people not to get too set in their ways. I mean, we don't want to live the same way we lived back in 1850. We like indoor plumbing. We like electricity. We like jet airplanes, and we like cars, and we like computers, and we like cell phones. And I think our lives get better because of progress. And that progress progress requires disruption. Progress doesn't naturally happen from the incumbents. The incumbents become monopolies, and they get lazy, and they don't do what we hope that they'll do for the next generation. So it's the startup that makes all the difference. The startup gives people an opportunity to get out there and do great things and change the way we do things and improve the world.
But it's easy for a guy who's had the same job for more than 25 years to say we don't want to live the way we used to. I mean, the employment disruption that's caused by technology isn't easy for a lot of people to live with, especially when the government at the same time is cutting some support that might help people go from one job to the next and cutting, help to education, help people be ready for those kind of job changes. Do you think that they have to go hand in hand, or is there a way to just say technology is good, let's have more technology disruption, let's have people have 6 or 7 careers in a lifetime, not 3, and hey, people, good luck with that?
Oh, I have had many careers in my life. Even though I've always done it under the DFJ umbrella, I've had many careers. I've had many different board seats. I've fought for various different companies. I've had many careers. And I do think that people have to recognize that change is happening faster and faster and faster, and they have to embrace that change. And they have to be willing to move from startup to startup or from company to company if the opportunity knocks. And we could have one big, huge organization that runs all the company, all the commerce in the entire world.
Now we're back with veteran venture capitalist Tim Draper to discuss soaring technology valuations and where the risks and investment opportunities are. So first of all, Tim, you called the IPO a quote-unquote dinosaur. Explain that to us.
Well, I think people don't really want to go public anymore. I think they like the idea of going public. They like the idea of people recognizing the value of their company. But I have found that companies don't want to go public. Facebook, Zynga, Twitter, Groupon could all be public companies, but they're not. And it's because Sarbanes-Oxley's created a real problem for people. They lose all their powerful board members because they don't want to be on a public company board. I think that the solution here is the XPO, where companies can go do a private IPO and raise money and create liquidity for their company. So I think Expert Financial gets it right here.
Tim, I want to talk about Expert Financial, but earlier in the show I was talking to a company called OCZ, which did not disclose that the CEO of the company was a convicted felon. And at the same time, you're telling me that the onerous, filing requirements of companies, and it's so hard to be a public company these days. Shouldn't investors have more information about the companies they invested in? These onerous requirements don't seem so onerous that you should, God forbid, know that the CEO is a convicted felon and therefore decide where to put your trust.
Yeah, I think there are always going to be some bad apples out there. I think what is really the situation is all that extra bureaucratic stuff that goes around the Sarbanes-Oxley, and that doesn't make anybody any more honest. I think that that bad apple would have been a bad apple in any kind of a situation. And just because he filled out more forms doesn't make him any better as a CEO. And I think CEOs with more flexibility can do more. And so by staying private but being tradable, I think those companies are going to benefit quite a bit more. And I think they're seeing that.
So, Tim, the secondary markets have obviously allowed companies to stay private longer. Do you think the valuations of these companies, though, are justified? We're talking about Facebook, Twitter, Groupon, Zynga seeing sky-high valuations on the second markets.
Yeah, I actually think they probably are properly valued, except that that the way they're being valued now is where investors really have no information about the company. With an XPO, at least the investors will have the basic financial information about the company and be able to value it based on that. So I do think that some of them may be overvalued, but in general, we're in for a big wave. I think the wave is really coming. We've had 10 very dry years in the venture capital business, and it looks as though it's just beginning to start to really flourish, and we're going to see some very good returns over the next 4 or 5 years.
All right, Tim Draper, legendary venture capitalist. Have fun at that dinner tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.